Hello, everybody. I'm John Cameron from the Indiana University Libraries, here to do the Avalon update. I'm the product owner for Avalon, and I'll just be talking about what's new with us. So what is Avalon? Just our regular slide. So it's a Samvera solution bundle for audio and video access. It has a number of sort of quality of life features like easy transcoding, granular access control, and a lot of other things that are sort of specific to Avalon to meet its use cases. We've been supported in the past by grants from Mellon Foundation and IMLS. And our latest release is Avalon 7.3. So first I want to mention some team changes. So first of all, I want to say a welcome to Mason, who has just joined it. I think this is his second week. So he has just joined the Avalon team as one of our developers. Previously, before we hired him, he was working with Julie Hardesty on metadata coding projects, working in Python and other things. So please say hello and introduce yourself to our newest team member. We're excited he's joined. So also we have an open position. The position for head of digital media software development is still open with us. Jim Halliday is thankfully and wonderfully currently filling in since Maria Whitaker retired at the very end of October. And the link there is just a link to the job listing. But that is still open. And if you have questions, you can contact Job Done. I do have some sad news to share, which is that our colleague Michael Johnson passed away suddenly and unexpectedly a few weeks ago. Michael had taken the role of senior developer on the Avalon team a little more than a year ago in February 2021. So, you know, he did a lot of work with us, and he also participated in the community. He did some community sprints and was working with Hyrax. So some of you, may have met or worked with him. He was, just a wonderfully nice person, a really good colleague, and he and his good cheer in the office are going to be missed. Donations in his memory, if you're interested, are for a college fund for his son. I'll post the link to the GoFundMe for that after the presentation. So to go back to, what's new in Avalon? Release 7.3 said is our latest, March 2022. We finally were able to get everything together to release this. So this includes our Google Drive support via Browse Everything and the integration of the transcript component from the Avalon IIIF React Media Player, and sort of the adding of transcripts to be sort of, first-class citizens to be added to sections and letting them render on the item page. A few other things that are in that are some, updated Docker build as sort of containerization becomes more popular, especially as an installation method. We're going to try to keep up with that. Ruby 2.7 support and a couple of fixes for some not so great bugs. So our transcript file viewer. So in the screenshot here, you can see transcripts are now sort of a typed category that you can associate with a file in Avalon, along with captions. So you can add any number of transcript documents, and they can be in any arbitrary file format. But if you upload them specifically in the format of VTT or DocX, it will render the transcripts on the item page. So the next slide here. So here's a Lunchroom manners, our classic example. And on the right side of the screenshot, you can see the transcript viewer rendering. So it will always render with a list of the transcripts that are available on the item, and users can download them, which is just that binary file directly. And with VTT, timestamps will render and be able to be clicked and synced within the player. And it's all viewable there. And then again, if it is a Word document, there's a client-side library that we're using to transform the document into HTML. So it ends up looking really nice in that viewer. And it is, the actual Avalon IIIF React Media Player and the transcript component specifically. So this was nice to be able to finally see the outcome of sort of the componentization we're trying to. We're saying, hey, we have this React component that we're working on for some other things, but we also have this one piece of it that's integrated, easy to integrate directly in the application. And the transcripts document, this will only render if a transcript document is present on an item or a section. Yeah, Google Drive integration is also part of this release. Unfortunately, as soon as we sort of got there, we found out we wouldn't really be widely adopting it at IU like I was hoping due to Google service changes. So it's kind of, made us think it's still worth it for at least one of our Avalon instances for people specifically who maybe outside of, the university system and don't have access to the same resources, but have Google accounts and can use that as a means of like file transfer. So it's simple to set up, but I think after we've done this, I think the concern that came up is, just maintenance in terms of difficulty in working with Browse Everything or continued support with Google perhaps changing its APIs or just sort of keeping that current and up to date could be a challenge that we weren't expecting. So I'm interested, if anybody is connecting to like OneDrive or other stuff, either through Browse Everything or some other means, I'd be interested to hear about that. And so what's next for Avalon? We have a bunch of stuff coming up. One is the migration of our Avalon documentation to the Samvera Confluence instance. So before we were using a sort of a local Confluence instance to do all of the documentation. And moving to the Samvera site is going to make it good for us because we need to migrate anyway. And then, just having the community documentation be there and be managed in that sort of same way is going to make life a lot easier, I think, for us in our documentation. And then Avalon 7 Forge is the next release we're planning with, the big dependency updates, Rails, Bootstrap, and Blacklight, just like we've been going through with Hyrax. And so we're hoping to essentially just include those in this next release. Other things we're working on are controlled digital lending feature. We're working on a project with Michigan State University to implement controlled digital lending within Avalon so that you would be able to set an Avalon instance as controlled digital lending instance. And so letting people only view if they have checked out a particular piece of media and then setting, time limits and all the sort of stuff that you would usually expect in controlled digital lending. And then we continue to work on the Avalon IIIF React Media Player, actually now that it's directly in Avalon, and then continuing to work specifically with our support, both for the generation, but also in consuming manifests and working on interoperability, as well as continue to build out the features that exist in our current media element-based player. And then, of course, continue to Hyrax work on the Avalon team has tried to take part in community sprints for Hyrax development work, whenever we can, with the idea that we still are moving to a Hyrax-based Avalon at some point, and basically helping with Valkyrie and helping with other things, both to get our development team more well-versed, but also just to move toward that goal. And so here's our contact and stuff. Our Avalon channel on Samvera Slack is a really good way to get a hold of us. Our mailing list, and then we also have this page on our website, our Connect page, which has all the different options. So yeah, we would love to hear any questions or info if you want to talk. All right, thank you.